Good afternoon. Welcome to the West Side Story. I'm your host, John Casey. If you're a returning visitor, thank you. If you are a new visitor, thank you, and please touch the like and subscribe buttons. Some of you will notice that I'm wearing a t-shirt today. It says, "Be kind." I'll be back in a dress shirt next week. Nothing to talk about in the crime report. I'd like to touch on something, though, that one of my personal heroes, Bob Keefe, said a number of years ago. Bob was a real local business hero. At one point, he owned the only radio station in Santa Clara, KARA, and he also owned KLAV and KRTY, and he ran the whole thing from Park Avenue. I mean, he was it. He was also a really nice man who on more than one occasion tried to help me out, made my life a lot better. So anyway, Bob's thoughts on voting were that even back then people said, vote, 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 get out the vote, go, go, go. Bob said that you would be better off not voting if you haven't had a chance to do the research and know who and what you are voting for. It's a little bit of a controversial approach, but I have to agree with him. Don't go to make yourself feel good. Go to offer your opinion, and hopefully that's a learned opinion that you've discussed. Some people will think I'm crazy for saying that, and if you do, there's certainly the comment section below. We're back again next week with the dogs, hopefully with a little smoother transition. Our Ferris City Council is meeting tonight, and it's a really long agenda, 22 pages. Couple of items that I picked out because I think they'll be interesting. Brian Doyle, who was the city attorney who was fired, has written a letter to the council per procedure asking that Kevin Park, the council member who represents this area, be asked to explain the discrepancies between his earnings reports and the Form 700. This is kind of interesting to me because as an employee of the County of Santa Clara, when I was in the procurement division, I was required to fill out a Form 700 once a year. It's widespread. As a member of the Civil Service Commission, I'm also required to fill out a Form 700 every year. All the council members are. The mayor, it's a pretty common thing. It was created under the California Political Fair Practices Act, and the idea was that they couldn't stop people from making money on deals, but they could certainly make them identify it. I'm not sure what we're going to find. There are significant issues about tax returns, and it's not just the president's, it's who can see your tax return, and they're always supposed to have been sacrosanct. So like I say, that's going to be an issue. The second really big issue is the attempt to declare the property in Loyalton surplus. The city bought this property a number of years ago intending to create an alternative power station. That never happened. It just didn't work out geographically, and so this property has sat there vacant. Actually, let me correct that. Part of the property is being used as a cattle ranch. In any case, the city is now more than 20 million in the hole, and people have finally started to say, hey, we're going to have to do something about this. And indeed they are. I understand not wanting to cut staff, but the reserves are only about 60 million. So I don't think they want to dump a third of the entire reserve into 1 year. Personal opinion, again. And they could do that. I don't think they should, but they could. So getting back to the Loyalton property, the first step in selling a piece of property for a California public agency is it has to be declared surplus. They have to make the determination internally that they don't need that property. Once that determination is made, they can then start the procedure of taking bids on the property. It's a little bit of an antiquated process, but the whole idea was to make sure that before cities or counties go off and sell off valuable assets, the citizens at least have a chance to know what's going on. The reason I think this will be contentious is the item on the agenda was created by Council Member Suds Jane, who represents the old quad, and Mayor Gilmore has been very much opposed to selling the property for a long time. I think we're going to see a bit of a clash there. It should be interesting. And as I said, there are a bunch of items, way too many to talk about here, but it should be an interesting meeting. We'll go back to the dog video next week, hopefully with a little smoother transitions. And that's it for this week. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Stay safe.